is how we do it.
Oh, hells yeah, this is how we do it. It's a little thing we call happy hour. Hello, beautiful people. It's Brian Brushwood live in studio from the newly minted Diamond Club Studios on the 7-acre Schwood, right on the edge of the Austin city limits. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm trying to DJ while I pivot and move around and stuff. Hey, here's the thing. Justin's going to be joining us. He's right now hanging out in the after show of the Daily Tech News Show. So joining us live in studio, we've got Director of Operations. Is there an even cooler name we could come up with?
Operations Jedi? Maybe?
Yeah, but Jedi. I mean, what's funny is there was a time that I would have thought that was the coolest possible name. But then the Phantom Menace came out, and it's like, I don't want to be called a Jedi. What are you doing? I don't know. Kung Fu Master, Operations Guru, Operations
Specialist? Operations Master?
Master of Spec Ops.
Master of Spec Ops. Okay.
Master of Spec Ops at the 7-acre Schwood. One Corey Cranfill. Here, let me. You introduce yourself while I settle this camera on you. How about that?
Fantastic. So basically I do the operations. I think that's what we said, right?
That's what you're describing a surgeon.
Oh.
Those are people that do operations.
Okay. Basically I do as much as I can to help Brian behind the scenes. So everything from the finances to ordering parts to...
Can we talk a little bit about the gentle dance that you perform, nudging me to do the tasks that I never want to do? If anybody here, and I was cautious to say this out loud because I didn't know if it would be taken as a compliment, but we are watching the Larry Sanders Show for Cord Killers, and there's a character, Artie, who's the producer of the show, who says one thing to everybody, who's very direct and blunt to everyone behind the scenes. He's just like, you go out there, you don't fucking say a word about this. You're gonna do this, and it's like you don't make me. And then he turns around to Larry and he goes, Larry, great show. You're doing a fantastic job. And Larry says something like, oh, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about this thing. He's like, nonsense. They loved it. Everybody loved it. And in the middle of watching that is as you came on the team, and I was just like, holy fucking Christ, I have a shit, I'm like Artie, and I have an Artie. And so part of your job is to guide me to do the things that a sensible CEO would do. And we just did our first. We did like an hour-long team huddle with everyone, which I would have...
I like how you say huddle. Because you don't want to say meeting. You don't want to say...
Look, we've had meetings in a pre-Corey era. They take 4 hours, and they're at a barbecue place. They take forever. So when you said a meeting, I was just like, man, I ain't got time for 2 Lord of the Rings episodes. It's like, a meeting? No, we can't do a meeting. I'm like, let's do a huddle. And my first response was, man, I don't want it to be a big thing where everybody has to have a thing to present or whatever. And you very wisely, being Artie, was like, Larry, listen. How about this? We schedule it for 3 o'clock. Then you only have 1 hour, and then you have to do happy hour.
We have a hard out.
And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do you mind that comparison? Do you mind that I always think of you as Artie? Because Artie is the best character on the Larry Sanders Show.
If you keep writing the checks, you can think of me as however you want. But no. I mean, it's a fair comparison, because basically the main portion of my job that I have the most value around here is making sure that you stay busy.
Yes. Well, and
happy.
You are right, because given the opportunity, I will wander into the woods and find something shiny.
Yes.
There was definitely... So we could talk about this one moment, and Justin, when he comes in, could chime in and give me sass about it.
Okay.
But there was sort of I don't want to say a line in the sand moment. There was a bet made, because you very helpfully nudged us earlier today, like, hey, man, I wrote up a bullet list of things to talk about during the meeting. I'm like, I mean, you talk about the stuff during the meeting. I don't get it. And then like yesterday, you brought up, like, what do you want to cover in the meeting? I'm like, we'll say this, we'll say that, we'll say this, the other thing. And then you wrote those down, and then you brought them to me, and then you started to go through them, and I said, like, Corey, I'm sorry. I got to be honest. My Brian brain is like, oh my God, we already did all this yesterday. You're going to make me do it again. And then I have to do it again at the meeting.
Indeed.
And you immediately turned around and were like, not a problem, not a problem. And then as we got to the meeting, there was, I forgot how we got there, but there was this moment where it's like, I am aware that this meeting is a test, and you are quietly going to be evaluating whether or not I need multiple practices before I go into this kind of meeting or whatever. And that's fine. I am fine with being judged, and you will know whether or not I need the reinforcement. Having said that, how did I do?
You did very well, of course.
Larry, you were wonderful. Everyone loved it.
The only reason I brought that up was just for me. It wasn't for you.
Well, and that is the thing, because if that is for you, then I'm all in. But if I perceive, I don't know what it is. Like in that moment, I saw that we had spent. My brain did the crazy math, and it's like, we've spent 30 seconds and we've talked about one bullet point. I see 17 bullet points on there. I'm pretty familiar with all these bullet points. It looks like we're on track for a 20-minute conversation about the 60-minute meeting that we're going to have. And I don't have any questions. And then I was like, and then the track switched, and I was like, is all of this happening for me or for Corey? Because if it's for Corey, I'll give everything. But if Corey thinks it's for me, then now we're doing extra reps that I don't want to do. And I just got all spun up in that moment. And I'm just like, Corey, can I go?
Would you like to know exactly where it came from?
Yes.
It's to fill in any gaps we missed. It's an important meeting because we haven't had one in months.
Yep.
And I didn't want someone to miss out. So I didn't want to miss a point that was important for Bryce on Scam Nation or Jason on Modern Rogue or any of the other people. I wanted to make sure that for me going over it and over it and over it,
right,
it is a way for me to find the gaps that I'm missing.
Right.
And so that's mostly on me. It's just a discussion of making sure we don't miss anything.
We're also pretty early in the days of doing this dance, where I don't know if we've talked about this in public. I don't know if you mind talking about it. But Corey is an accomplished manager who handles an awful lot of people in the corporate world. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not to say. Whatever. But he's been familiar with my work for a long time, and then one day he just showed up and he said, "Hey, seems like you're going to need me." And I'm like, that sounds like something a con man would say. and then he said, "I brought whiskey." And I said, that seems like something a con man would do. And then I said, essentially, I mean, there was pleasantries, but essentially I said some version of, here's how it works. You just keep showing up. You work for free. And then there comes a time when I don't know how to do it without you. And then I start paying you. And you said, that works for me.
It works great.
And then 8 months later, you had a paycheck. and we really are at this weird place where I had never appreciated that. I think that the same thing that made me a successful independent creator is I have seen in other people that mentality can make it very difficult to be a good leader. And what I've really enjoyed over the last few months I don't know if you think that I don't notice your nudges, but I appreciate them. Like, I'm like, oh, this is Corey nudging me. And then other times I'll nudge back. I'm like, fuck off, I'm in dad mode, you know, or fuck off, I'm sad about this thing that I just found out, or whatever. But those nudges have really made an astonishing difference. I mean, and plus also there's things the team can say to you that might that they know I will overreact to, and then you pass the message on to me, and then you absorb the overreaction, and then you translate it to, and we get to a place where it's like, yeah, give him 20 minutes, he'll cry himself out, and then it's like, we've landed on this. Like, I never appreciated the value of middle management until you came along.
Yeah. Well, I think I appreciate that. I think so. Now, yes, I realize that you feel the nudges. in the end, it doesn't matter to me if you notice them or not.
What,
you know what I mean?
But it matters that they are now occupying brain space in.
And I don't nudge you. I try not to nudge you unless it feels important.
Yeah,
and I think
sure.
I've been around long enough now that I've got a pretty good grasp for what is and is not important, and the things that you will and will not handle. There's still some things we're working through, but
Yeah.
And so to me, when I nudge you, that's it. It's on purpose. It's meant for you to be able to process it within your own time, and then you can kind of tell how important it is by how often I nudge you.
Yeah, well, and also it's really weird in that soft skill way. There's different language that, like, when something is black and white, there's a deadline. We need to do whatever. It's like, hey, this thing has to happen by Friday. You get that thing done. Like even your texts are like you do that thing, and I'm like no, you're like, get that thing done, and then it's and that's all black and white. But part of what you're doing is recognizing that mushy gray area where it's like, this is all bandwidth. There's a good chance, like, look, I get it. Play some Hearthstone, but at some point you play Hearthstone long enough, you're hating Hearthstone, and you're not doing these more interesting opportunities that we have in front of us or whatever. And so there is sort of this maximization role. Yes. It's really wild. Oh, we just got a comment in the beginning in the chat room here on Twitch about where to find the music that we play at the beginning and end. We got a ways to go, but I loves me some mashups. I love the more creative, the more outrageous they are, the better. In this case, I think for the last few days, I've just been playing track after track of Neil Cicerega's Mouth Moods, and we'll eventually, I know there's a whole other album that we have to go through. So Neil Cicerega is the same guy that did Brody Quest, so just look up Brody Quest. But anyway, that's where that came from. But again, don't know if we've talked about this in public. How did you just decide? Yeah, how does one go from a listener of Brian's ramblings to saying he's going to need me? Let me just do that. Oh, this is good. Bonnie just showed up. Here. So she'll be there for the confession.
So, the funny part about this whole story is it was exactly 1 year ago today.
What?
Exactly today.
What?
April 23rd of last year. Today's the 23rd, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
April 23rd of last year.
This is when you texted me a picture
of me sitting on your concrete slab. With
it was very creepy. It was. If I say very creepy, you might get the wrong impression. It was the exact right amount of creepy. It was
orchestrated. It was planned.
If I remember correctly, it was a text of you of not even your face, because I don't think I knew what you looked like. I just knew you were a guy who wanted to help us out and was in the area. And then you send me a picture of a bottle of Balmore whiskey, and it takes me a good 10 seconds before I realize it's in front of the construction site of our future soundstage. And I went on this whole emotional journey of how I felt about that. Like, is that initiative? Or should I call the cops?
That was, believe it or not, that was exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to be a little caught off guard.
Yes.
Hopefully not panic.
Because nobody knew. Again, it's not hard to find us, right? That's what went through my mind. I'm like, we've never said where we are. Also, we're not hard to find.
Correct.
So I took it in its intended spirit as, this is somebody who wanted to prove to me that he's willing to do the little bit of legwork that it takes to find out where we are.
So how did we get to that point, right?
Yeah.
So I've been admiring you, of course, for years, and everything that you and Justin and the Frog Pants Network and just all this whole world, right?
How did you fall in? Wait, was it Frog Pants first?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's been too long now. So it might have actually been some of Leo's podcasts.
Yep. By the way, Bonnie Brushwood joining us in studio.
Hello.
Hey.
And also for those of us just joining us live, Justin's doing DTNS right now, so he'll show up in a minute. Go on.
So I don't remember exactly where I found you in the mix, but basically back in the day it was somewhere across Frog Pants or some of Leo's stuff. And my brother's been a real big fan of you, so we've watched Night Attack forever since the start.
Man, that's how I always knew. Like when I was still touring, there was code. There was. I assumed everybody was there because it was Thursday and I was being paid by the university to show up and do a student thing. And then there was some people who had this bright-eyed look after the show and were excited to shake hands, and then usually mentioned something about Scam School. And it makes sense. But then there was always pretty much 1% of any show. If there was 300 people, there would be 3 of them. If there was 500 people, there'd be 5 of them. There would be some percentage of them that would walk up and do the Diamond Club sign. And it's like, you were at the top of the list because you know the real story and I have nothing to hide from you. Yep. and most likely you traveled from farther than anyone else in this room. So you get the maximum amount of my attention.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So... and of course, I've listened to you, and I enjoyed when you talked about your 20-year plans, your 5-year plans, 2-year plans, 20-year plans.
Oh,
and
that was the moment.
Yeah,
you listened to me talking about how David Rowan summarized the one thing and talked about how dynasties and empires are built with a 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, 20 year, 30 year
exactly
and stuff.
And so that's when I was like, okay, I like the direction that he is thinking for his company, right?
Yeah.
And I've owned several companies before, so I am an entrepreneur at Spirit, right? And so, and I work for a large corporation covering
a massive territory.
Massive territory, right? And so I ended up sending you a message on Twitter.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Oh, ahoy.
Ahoy. We have a jury.
Justin Robert Young. Oh, this is another unintended benefit of the Opal. Is just all of a sudden it's like the door opens and in comes Kramer and everybody applauds. Here, let me mute this. Hey, buddy, how was DTNS?
Oh, another day with the tech news. Talking that tech news.
Them hot send tech nudes.
Yes. Oh, are we on the new hotness or
No,
what's the hap?
Ish. They've installed the business class router, but we still have the residential service, which today seems to be totally happy.
Okay.
And I've already decided that I could absorb 1 month of having, of doubling my payment to Spectrum to have literally 2 different networks to switch between. Tomorrow, Roberto's going to come over. We're going to figure out, switching over and all that stuff. But for right now, man, it feels good to have everything, to have options.
So you have the ability to connect into their business network. You just need to figure the rest of it out on your end?
Well, if we did it earlier today, there's one thing that would have broken, which is your connection via Opal. And I said from my cold, dead fingers, you motherfuckers.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, no. It's too important. We've become too hooked on this particular brand of heroin.
So the only thing you missed is we talked about how we did a grown-up professional team meeting, and it was all because Corey is Artie from the Larry Sanders Show, and we talked about how comfortable he is with that comparison that I keep making.
Yeah.
And then we talked a bit about how he fell into our ecosystem and became a fan of NSFW and the Night Attack. And he said that the trigger moment was when we started to talk about the empire building plans. The 5-year, 20-year plans. Like this is what empires do well and don't do. And then he was like. I could do that. And then he shows up and he says, the first words he says are, Larry, great show. You were amazing. Don't worry about them. They're foolhards, all of them. Dog shit. Slick spittles.
I think actually what I said was, hey, I cover a large area of 3 or 4 states. I cover $100 million worth of product. I'm a president for a nonprofit. I'm going to come run your business. And
what's funny is legitimately I was like, I've heard this before. It was the equivalent of when I stopped John Stossel by saying, I have your Emmy, and he kind of nods like, yeah, a lot of people do. But it's funny because you get those moments like we talked about how yesterday Gray Whitaker down in Australia saved happy hour just by calling me out of the blue, because he's one of those folks who also is really well qualified in the business world. And then one day you wake up and you see a 5-year corporate strategy for my business, all in a awesome PDF format. And then and it's like, well, this must have been a side project. And then he calls me to say, hey man, what are you working on? What can I help with? And all of a sudden you realize, like, oh my God, no, there really are people who are this qualified, this talented, this good, and this excited about being a part of a thing. It's I don't know, it's a bit overwhelming for me.
Well, yeah, but it's something that I think Brian, you are in a very tricky position, because not only are you running a business, but you're running a business that in part you are an indispensable talent of, and that's a hard thing to separate. Like there's only so much that brain hemispheres can kind of distance from themselves to optimize.
Yeah, well, and that was what we were talking about at the top of the hour, was sort of Corey's role as, there's black and white stuff, like this, have you done the thing? It must be done by this time. Yes, no. There's taskmaster Corey, and then there's gentle nudging Corey. and there'll be these moments where it'll be like, hey, have you thought about, hey, you want a blue sky a little bit about this? And I'm like, and maybe I'm in a sour mood. I'm like, I know you're trying to nudge me into creative space. I don't want to be nudged. And then he gives me an opportunity to take a nap. And then he's like, how about now? I'm like, okay, we can talk about it.
Yeah. It's a tricky situation, because again, you're the talent.
Yeah,
you're the talent, and you're the boss. And
Talent, the boss. Yep.
Yeah, that's hard. That's to go back to the Larry Sanders Show. It's I think my favorite line from the whole series was a Kingsley line where he's like, this show isn't for you to get laid, it's for Larry to get laid.
So Bonnie's been working down in the studio, and she has a very important question that I want to put to the group, because this is a real thing that happened.
What?
Bonnie said, how much should I charge for my Clazy Pigs?
I seriously was about to send off that little note.
Well, so here's the way it happened. She said,
don't you
how much should I charge
Don't you dare.
for these Clazy Pigs? And I paused a moment, and I thought, and I asked, who's buying the Clazy Pigs? And she said, well, it's people who want a token of value, who whatever. I'm like, so grandparents to their kids. So it means this and that. And, I'm like midway through how this isn't just a piggy bank. It's an heirloom. It's something that's meant to represent your aesthetic values, but also instill in a child the importance of future thinking and savings. And then I get halfway through this. I'm like, maybe you should include a savings bond. And then I hear click. And then I look over, and she's definitely taking a dump. She's like, the door's closed. She's already left the room and is taking a shit. Yeah. So,
Thanks, Brian.
the question to the table is
Excuse
what?
me, I'm just gonna go lay
Take a
for
shit?
it.
Yeah, you're Rick Sanchez. You're like, I'm gonna go take a shit. How much should she charge for the Clazy Pigs? Because it is one of those things where it's not just what it is, it's what it represents. And the target demographic has some spare jingle, and what they want it to be is a thing that is that lives in a kid's like I still have the piggy bank that I got from childhood, the little ceramic one from that.
Yeah.
And retroactively, if you told me, hello, I'm going to steal this from you, I would pay you $1,000 to please not steal that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So back 30, 40 years ago, what would be the right price for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm so out of my depth with that. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'd put one up at a certain price and then just see if it sells.
Renaigu says handcrafted and unique, $100. And I think that might be it. Is just handcrafted and unique, $100.
Well, I was thinking a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have shot higher. Like, if you gun to my head, I probably would have been in the 500, 1,000 range.
Yep.
Now, at that point, I do think you have to do some P.T. Barnum. Like, also in each one is, a $50 or $100 savings bond, or do that grandma shit. Like put some spin on it to make it easy for them to justify the larger price tag.
Maybe, I don't know. It really depends. Like, I think that we're in a digital age now where if somebody appreciates it and really appreciates the art design on it, then they're going to pay for it because they want to invest in the art design. They want to invest in the artist.
Yeah.
Like, I think that this is less a mass market piggy bank and more of a like, oh, I care so much about my child, I got them this great artist's work of art.
To me, it's a question of, is it a tool or is it art? Like Justin was saying. And if it's art, it can be a lot more. So I think that's right on in between the 500,000 to 1,000. If it's a tool, that's the $80 thing,
Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask, Bonnie, do your Clazy Pigs, do they have like that rubber gasket in their belly?
Oh, no.
You have to smash it? Everything goes in?
If you ever want to get any of the change out, you have to either shake it or smash it. So
that's awful.
I can make little noses. I'm still experimenting with the design, but I can make little cork noses, and I've done that, and that's kind of cute. But I don't like the little rubber gasket. That doesn't work for me. But the just the nerdy ceramic side of me, I have worked for 2 years trying to find the perfect piggy pink glaze.
Explain why this is so difficult, because you had to explain it to me.
Okay, it's ridiculous. But I mean, the thing about something that looks kind of alive is that it's not just one flat color. And so the problem with ceramics is a lot of the pinks especially are very flat, and you don't get dimension to them. So I found this one that blushes, and blushes means you put like a type of material next to it. In this case, it's something that has tin, and that tin next to the pink glaze makes it, or this glaze that's not even pink. It's just white, but it blushes pink if you have tin next to it. So it looks really great, and
so
it looks
what you
like
end
it
up
has
with
a little life to it. It's adorable.
Well, and what you end up with is, when you think of that perfect piggy bank pink, you're also almost certainly thinking of a flat pink, as if the whole thing is made of that particular pink color. But what Bonnie found was a glaze that has just a little bit of clearness in there. So it ends up like more like the pink of your fingertips, where it's just a little bit translucent, and as a result, they seem a little bit more alive, basically.
Yeah. So you can see the glaze a little through it. So you
do you have any
the
posted
clay.
pictures of any of them that I can show?
I just took some pictures, but I can send them.
Well, here, post one to your Instagram, and I'll jump over to that.
Yeah, I just,
oh, there you go.
I just posted them.
Instagram.
But I'm having fun with it, and then people have been asking, and I was just doing these just as gifts, but then I was like, man, the people are asking are like Diamond Club people, and I love all those people, so yeah, I need to open it up. But they're fun to do.
I have to log in to even look at your pictures.
Well, there's one. Yeah, that one has a couple of them. Like, if you click on that one,
I can't.
You can't.
Thanks, Insta.
Anyways, but you can see.
Well, they want to push people to the mobile experience.
Yeah.
They don't make it easy for you, desktoppers.
No. So that's
gross. Fun. Ew, keyboards. Get him out of here with his nimble fingers.
Quit trying to bottom from the top, you toppers. Ew. All you desktoppers.
Yeah, go ahead. We need to look at it. You touch the face twice. That shows likes.
Ugh.
So this is the thing that the little symbolic stuff, Brian, is that you have this artistic career and you have this very individual piggy bank. And I look at that going, it is kind of cool where your money comes from. Like, you have this beautiful handcrafted individual career, and the piggy bank you started off with is the represents that. So I kind of like the idea.
Yeah,
of
that
having,
doesn't sell for 100.
Yeah.
That sells for more than 100. It's too big. It's too intricate. It's too good looking.
Them ears,
That's
though.
got to be at least. That's over 3.
Well, those
them
are
ears, that
probably
grin.
ears and all, just 9 inches tall. So they're not super.
No,
huge.
but still, yeah. But that's it looks. I mean, it is handcrafted, but it looks handcrafted, right?
Sherwin rocks in the chat. My kid would break that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know, that's a thing. That's like the high shelf thing. And then I kind of like, I don't know, at the studio, I went round and round with the guy that was running the studio because he hated that I made these delicate things. But I was like, art's a responsibility, and I kind of like that people have to take care of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the experience with the work I create. But the best thing is he kept breaking them before they got to the kiln. And so I just quit making them for a while. But now that I have this tiny kiln at my property, I just go and put them in there while they're still wet, because then they're not fragile then. And then they sit in there for like a week until they're dry, and then they don't break. So I circumvented.
Did you know, Bonnie, that the
process.
Pegasus, the winged pig, is the spirit animal of the ice cream social crowd?
Oh no!
Have
I
you
didn't
considered?
realize that.
Would you compromise your artistic integrity and put wings on these pigs?
You know, I think of their ears as being wings, but yeah, no, I could probably figure something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lazy Pegasus. Hey, so on this Twitter page, it says trends for you, and there are 4 things that are trending, and I have no idea why any of them are trending. So let's play a quick game. Justin, before we look, do you know why Alex Trebek is trending?
Oh,
Is it?
I
Please,
actually do.
please don't let it be what I think it is.
It's not that.
Good.
It is in fact, it's Alex Trebek being kind of a dickhead.
Oh, right on. Even better. Canadian treasure. Boy, that was such a great bit in the show. That Canadian treasure.
Alex Trebek is trending because there's a clip that's gone viral of him on Jeopardy where he does the little interview with people.
Yep.
And on the interview, he's like, you have a very interesting kind of music that you like. And she's like, yes, I like nerdcore hip hop. And I like nerdcore hip hop because, it's very nerdy and it talks about, maybe not being easy to meet somebody of the opposite sex.
Is this the one where he
And-
says losers?
Yeah. So losers.
That's that's an old clip. I remember that made the rounds a while ago.
Apparently it's back.
Okay, what about number 2 here? Insane Clown Posse.
I have a guess, but I don't know for sure.
I know that one.
What is your guess, Justin?
My guess, and I know this because I have a constant update of exactly what's happening in the magical world of Tom Nook through Animal Crossing, that there is now a character that has come to the Animal Crossing world that looks like he has Juggalo face paint on.
I don't think so. Maybe.
You don't think so?
No. It's that they canceled one of their upcoming events and said, we're not going to let one of our people die. And so everyone's saying like, so the Insane Clown Posse doesn't want any of their people to die.
Did
but
they cancel the
government doesn't.
gathering?
Yep.
The gathering of the Juggalos?
Yep, exactly right.
Well, there it is. Insane Clown Posse, according to Google News. Even the Insane Clown Posse isn't insane enough to gather this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Man, Dragon Con's definitely getting canceled.
Yeah, right? There's no chance.
No chance.
All right, next up, both Bin Laden and Osama Bin Laden. I have a guess on this one.
Wow, all right, you go ahead and take the guess because I got no clue on why Bin Laden's trending.
I believe
Did he die?
today is the 10-year anniversary of his assassination. I mean,
No.
somebody shooting him in defense. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
10 years ago, was it?
Yeah. I think today is the 10-year anniversary. He's back in Pog form.
That would seem fast to me.
Well, you remember it was in the Obama era.
It was, but I don't think.
I'm going to go to, again, by Google News. I'm going to type in Osama Bin Laden.
Do you think
There
it was 2010? No.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
weird.
No, it died in 2011.
But is today the day?
He died on May 2nd.
Wow. Why is it trending then? Should I click on the thing?
I don't know. Probably any of the billions of other reasons aside from the one you said.
Sure is amazing that stories about Osama bin Laden wanting Biden to be president are coming to light now. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is this? Osama bin Laden sought to assassinate Obama and leave a totally unprepared Joe Biden in charge. Okay, so this is some red team, blue team shit, where it's like they're all like, hey, "That's how bad Biden is."
Joe Biden is.
Yeah, got him. All right.
That's super weird. That's a super weird thing to like spike the football on.
Yeah.
Like, boom! Oh, one of the most famous murderers of our generation wanted your guy dead, and
wanted
his,
your guy in
his
charge.
lackey. Oh, he wanted, yeah, because your Dumbo idiot lackey was gonna take over in your face. High five goes to Osama bin Laden, and he's like, totally tubular, and then he roller skates off because he's a wacky ghost.
What about
Totally tubular.
number 4 trending? Danny Trejo. Why do you think Danny Trejo is trending?
Because he made some very controversial statements about Osama bin Laden and Joe Biden.
He's like, well, I think it was the right call. Puts on a red hat, drives a motorcycle with a machine gun on the front. It bears his vampire's teeth.
Yeah. Let's get out of here, Big O. The ghost of Osama bin Laden comes over on a wave.
So what about anyone have a guess they want to lock in before I go?
No clue on Trejo. I certainly hope he's not dead.
Oh, jeez.
He had a
Who?
funny social media post, maybe.
Okay.
Like a
there you go.
recording
Wait,
from
who
home.
is it?
Danny Trejo.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, unexpected.
Huh.
Machete star Danny Trejo donates meals to hospital workers.
Oh.
The last thing you would expect from a murderous assassin vampire player.
So Danny Trejo, awesome guy. That's good. I like that.
I
That's a
bet
good-
you
that's a good
thought
trend.
Danny Trejo was awesome. Well, here's what you don't know. He's awesome.
Turns out.
Am I the asshole? I'm Danny Trejo, and I donated these meals to workers.
Maybe it was his workout regime. Did you see that?
No.
It was the next one down.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, banging them out in
2 a days in isolation?
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
By the
Two-a-days
way,
are the women.
Low key fact about Danny Trejo. How tall do you think he is?
Oh, he's got to be shorter than expected. He presents as like 6 foot,
Yeah.
but if I was gonna guess, I know that I'm taller than
nobody.
than Tom
Aw,
Cruise.
shut
By the way, I don't know if we talked about it, but Bonnie stated out loud to me that we were in a relationship partly because she felt like she could take me in a fight. Early in the relationship. I'm going to guess 5'4". Just because that would be the most.
5'6". 5'6", yeah.
So, yeah.
Really? 5'6"?
Yeah,
know.
short guy. How old do you think Danny Trejo is?
I think he's 61 now.
Yeah, it's got to be at least 100.
He's a vampire.
Bonnie, any guesses?
Oh, I'm going to say 58.
75 years old.
No,
Yeah.
he is not.
What?
Wow.
Wait, when did
Unless
that
he's
show
the
come
only
out?
person in Hollywood lying about his age the wrong way. He is publicly listed as 75 years old. Although, by the way, badass on Danny Trejo, because I totally buy. I've heard he was short, but 5'6" seems like the kind of height that you would look at Danny Trejo and be like, damn, he's short. And 75 years old is his publicly listed age. So I think he might be the only person in Hollywood not lying about either.
Yeah, him and Penn and Teller.
Wow.
That's it. They're the only ones. Oh, that's crazy. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, there was something I was about to dig up. You got any new entertainment news?
Oh, Brian, of course. The entertainment news is always going on. It's always a fun time with the entertainment news. I'll tell you what, Brian, when you think of entertainment news, you think of the Night Attack Happy Hour. It's definitely the fully prepared segment where we talk about all this entertainment news, man. Hey, you heard about the Pokemon?
No. I mean, I'm familiar with the game, the intellectual property, sure.
Well, apparently there's going to be a new series coming out, and it has found a home exclusively on Netflix.
Yeah. What's funny is I was like, it's got to be Netflix, and then I had this weird visceral response. I'm like, don't go to Netflix, and then it was Netflix.
Why did you not want it to be on Netflix?
Well, I don't know, because they have everything. It's because they're winners, and it's like nobody wants to see the Yankees win yet another World Series, and they just did. They just did.
Okay, who is the underdog that you want to see land Pokemon or something?
Quibi. Can we go back to shitting on Quibi? Did you hear?
Oh my god!
Did you hear that? Like one of the major people got fired.
No, they left. Right? The social media person or the PR person left.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take this look.
Oh my god!
That person, that's rough.
You mean the person that spent all that money advertising it?
Quibi's top marketing executive, Megan Imbres, exits 2 weeks after launch. And I tweeted that this was a perfectly normal thing that happens with many successful properties. You know, it's like, I did it. I launched it. It's a huge success, and I'm out. Now I'm going to be president of the United States.
Oh my god! I can't even believe the heresy that you would suggest.
No.
That you're voting for Team Quibi.
Quibi. I mean, look, now that what's funny is I hated Quibi.
There was a crazy article. Sorry.
Let me just say this: that one of the most recent articles about Quibi from 2 days ago, The Street asks, "What is Quibi?" That's probably not a great thing.
Yeah.
That's the most newsworthy thing within the last 48 hours. Sorry, you were saying, Justin?
So, there was a great article, and I forget where I read it, but about how there was a Quibi fan podcast called Quibiverse.
Yep.
And Quibi hit him with a cease and desist.
What?
Whoa, that's such a Quibi thing to do.
Why?
I know, isn't it? And so now they're like, yeah, no, now we're just filled with bile and hatred, and we really hate Quibi, and we just crap on Quibi constantly. By the way, have you heard about Peacock? I think it's going to be great.
What is Peacock?
Peacock is the NBC streaming service, which
yeah.
They knocked it out of the park in their announcement about how they were going to roll everything out, what content partnerships they had, what the originals were going to be. Oh, and by the way, we have the Olympics. Bummer. Kind of canceled the Olympics this year.
Yeah.
And so, but despite that, they're actually just rolling stuff out faster for Peacock. So we'll see if it's as good as it seems like they danced the perfect dance, but we'll find out.
If I were Peacock, I would be showing Olympic potential stars, like doing the workouts and stuff like that. Like
For a year?
Yeah. I mean, do you think they don't like work out for a year or
Well,
whatever?
but can you get a year's worth of storytelling out of this guy's working out?
There's a lot of people. Like, it's not the same person. It's all, I mean, there's a ton of people who go to the Olympics.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of loving this because right now on the live stream at 4:47 p.m. Central Time, our residential internet shit the bed, and the entire chat room is losing their mind. And I would be very upset right now if we didn't already have the badass turbocharged escape vehicle growling in the garage, ready to go.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's enjoying this after the fact, congrats, and maybe join us live once we're about to have stable internet. But apparently it's like looping on Bonnie's
I got one
reaction.
final story for you.
Okay, what do you got?
Joe Biden running for president.
I heard of him.
He returned a $2,800 campaign donation. Now, this happens every once in a while where some money comes in, you don't like where it came from, and so you give it back. You want to take a guess at the kind of person that would give the Joe Biden campaign $2,800, and they would say, no thanks.
I know that there is a performance artist who gives various amounts, and he gives a lot or he gives a little, and he just sees who keeps the checks. Like, I want to say that, like, Pat Buchanan 20 years ago kept a check from Satanists for Pat Buchanan. So I don't know if this is a stunt thing or not. Actually, can you give me that elaboration? Is this an actual entity?
It is not a stunt. It is not a stunt. It is a bold-faced name.
Oh,
a bold
A name
face
you've heard before.
Planned Parenthood.
the NRA?
No. A person,
Oh.
not an organization. Like it's just
Norville
I just say bold-faced
Robert
name as in a celebrity.
Goop.
It's got to be Hitler, right?
Goop.
No way, Goop. Wait, are you saying Goop?
What's her name? Goop.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, there you go.
And also, I
Gwyneth
guarantee you,
Paltrow?
she's going to stay the night at the White House after he's president. No way.
100%. No. He keeps that Gwenny check. That Gwenny check goes right in the bank.
Yeah.
Sean Hannity.
No. All right. It is comedian Louis C.K.
Really?
Weird flex to inject himself into.
Yeah.
Like, especially.
I mean, like he didn't make a big deal about it. He just on March 4th made a donation, assuming through the Biden website, but all that stuff is public via Federal Election Commission listing. So eventually, it's going to come out, and they actually did just release all the stuff from the first quarter. So that's when that would have come out. And apparently, when people started asking about Louis C.K. putting in the money, they said, nope, give it right back to him.
Well, but, okay, so which is the right move? Because that's one of Biden's biggest weaknesses is the whole flap about his creepy hands and his grabbiness and stuff. And so if I assume one of his biggest goals is to not make that a talking point. So it seems like the quieter way is to keep the money, and if asked about it, say, look, I don't know, Democrats give us Democrat money. What do you want me to say about it? But by giving it back, he's making a moral stand of moral superiority. Like, I would never, ever be associated with creepy behavior in front of women. Also snap it to a Slim Jim. It's me, Biden. But then that just brings that back into the spotlight, especially at a time where there's that story of somebody who said she was full on sexually assaulted by him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably the vectors that they were thinking about, but they decided that they would rather end the story. That's usually why these things happen, is they just want the story to be gone. So it's like, oh, Louis C.K. donated money to you, and they're like, yeah, we gave it back. Next.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the reverse, because we're talking about it now, specifically because he gave the money back. And I don't think we would be talking about it if he had kept the money.
I don't know. I could, I mean, like, all right, so I'm reading this off a Jezebel post. I could very much see that the Jezebel post that goes viral is Joe Biden raising money from Louis C.K. instead of Joe Biden says no thanks to Louis C.K.'s donation. But I don't know who was initially pouring through those FEC reports.
Man, that's some weird ass shit. That's some crazy trash. A world where there was a similar thing where, look, I follow 800,000 people on Twitter, right? Spoiler alert, not everyone has maintained their account perfectly, and some of them have had compromised accounts and that get bought and sold after the fact, and some of them are garbage, are being run by either botnets or illegal activity or whatever. And it's like, somebody hit me up like, why do you follow this account that sells children? And the account is as pictured Exactly as awful as you would think. Like it's straight up somebody claiming to sell children, and and I'm like, I don't know, probably a fan account that got corrupted. More importantly, why are you on that page? Like, can we talk about that part? Why are you on that page?
All right, I lied. There is one final entertainment thing that I'll wrap us up on.
Okay, but before we do,
I
ICU asks, is Louis C.K. hurting that bad that he could only give $2,000? That's the max. $2,800, I believe, is the maximum legal allowed donation that you're allowed to do.
Probably $8.
Yeah, you can give more to a super PAC, but you can only give that to the campaign.
Yep.
All right, Brian, I answered a question that I did not have an answer for before.
Okay,
and that is, what will make me watch Apple Plus?
Oh, I'm in. It's a thing that comes out today, right? Shoot, why am I not remembering what it is?
No, tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow.
Oh, I've forgotten what it is, and I was sad when I saw it was Apple Plus, because that means I'm going to have to get it too. What is it again?
It is the Beastie Boys story, a live documentary that is an augmented version of the Mike D and Ad Rock
Remembrance
live, like a discussion of their book, basically. So they were walking through all these stories from the book with visuals to it, but I guess this is going to be augmented even further into documentary form by Spike Jonze, their longtime video collaborator.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw the trailer, but it was pretty great. It hits all these beats, and I think I called you. Like, it's like, oh my God, this is gonna get me in all the feels.
Three bad brothers that you know so well. It started way back in history with Ad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D.
It seems really self-deprecating from what they show on this.
Yeah.
And authentic.
The Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys. The Beastie Boys. In the early 80s, everyone in our scene was in a band.
We wanted to be rappers so bad, but we were mediocre at best.
How did it?
Just don't stop. Most rappers hold their rhymes in little pieces of paper, right?
We went from being famous in a 14-block radius to being on tour with Madonna and Rick Rubin.
The shows kept getting bigger and bigger.
We morphed from making fun of Party Bros to actually becoming those dudes.
We were burning out.
I just didn't even recognize the person that I had become at that point.
Yo, hold up, it's not over yet.
Go! There's not that many times in your life when you realize you're in a new chapter.
The Beastie Boys are back after a 6-year absence.
We changed how we wanted to be as people and friends.
We got inspired, and while experimenting, we found our voice.
Really? High five?
Yeah, it's coming back, Adam. It's coming back.
Adam Yauch was the driving force. The one that not only gets themselves going and doing great things, but says we should all do this. Yauch was that type of friend.
Dude, I'm gonna have all the
Yauch,
feels.
Mike and I have spent more time with each other than with our
you're
own
not
families.
bullshitting.
It's not like all of it was easy.
Man,
highlight-filled.
do you want to? Is there some version of a group watch? I feel like if we all lived in the same neighborhood, this is one we would get together to grab a beer and watch.
Yeah, it's this is a crazy one. I mean, there deserves to be. I hope that this is amazing, but there deserves to be a big, like, I would watch a multi-episode 6-part version of a Beastie Boys story.
Even totally
to it.
fictionalized. I mean, like as a miniseries or some shit. That would be amazing. I'd be down for that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more like OJ or Tiger King or the Jordan thing or whatever, but literally all of it. Yes, I would like the fictionalized version. I would like the every different version. And one thing that I will say about the Beastie Boys is, like, as much as you can kind of, or at least at the time, you could sort of like, oh, okay, like Free Tibet, just another celebrity obsession that they do a thing for. Spoiler alert. Not a lot of people talking about Tibet these days. Wonder why.
Because like, oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that whole thing, like they were the ones that made that a cultural cliche because they were the ones talking about that.
And that was before everybody was cashing a check from China.
Oh,
China does not like you talking
wow.
about Tibet. In fact, I heard a rumor that there was a certain Austin-based screenwriter that came under tremendous pressure that led to a very sad photo in the New York Times because of problems with China and Tibet. I don't know for sure. These are just rumors that I've heard. But yeah, like that's for real. And that's something that like I don't think you couldn't do that. You couldn't get that amount of talent that they put together for those Tibetan freedom concerts now because everybody's worried about, the record labels are all tied in, the studios are all tied in, they're all cashing checks from China, and they don't want to see you out there talking about how Tibet should be free.
Wow. Hot damn. Okay, so are we gonna do it? Are we gonna sign up for Apple TV Plus?
Nope.
I think I have it.
Nope.
Or I'm signing up for it. I'm watching this thing when it comes out.
I forgot.
Like, that's not
all of us have it for free.
Nope.
Except for for somebody who is not a fan of that ecosystem. But if you've bought any major Apple device in the last year,
Nope.
you have it for free. So I'm gonna guess that's not you.
That's a nope.
That's a hard no.
That's a strong nope.
You're like I'm gonna.
Nope.
You won't even admit to pirating this material. No, yeah, I'll jump in. I can't wait to watch it. Also, Josie and I are watching What We Do in the Shadows, and it's freaking great. Second season is amazing. Everything about it is great. You ready to wrap it?
Yeah. Let's wrap her up.
All right.
What kind of rap? Is it a free Tibet rap?
Yeah, all right.
Rippity rap, rapidy rap.
Clazy Pigs, Middle Management, and the Beastie Boys. Thank you. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.